Everyone would like to win. In order to win, we'd like to have an advantage, a competitive edge. Being able to control the upper body in high school and freestyle wrestling is that big advantage or competitive edge that can take you to the top. Dave Schultz, an Olympic and world champion, became a great wrestler at an early age because he had 1 year of concentrated upper body training. Wrestling is a sport of pulling. In order to be successful, you need to understand how to incorporate this concept of taking a hold of your man and pulling him on top of you to set up both your offense and your defense. While you may already be good at doing this with your lower body attack, you must also be confident with this concept in your upper body attack if you want to be a complete wrestler. What we will do on this tape is show you how to use the upper body attack to give you an advantage over your opponent. Think of how you feel when a guy has a strong underhook on you, or even worse, when he has a double underhook. Imagine they know how to use it. It's even worse when they actually do know how to use the hold. The techniques we show here are designed and have proven to work against the best wrestlers in the world. Helping you beat an inexperienced opponent is not our concern. You'll probably do that without our help. But as you rise to the higher levels of wrestling, there won't be any inexperienced opponents. The only way to win at this level is to master the elements in every aspect of wrestling. You will be an expert in upper body wrestling when you finish learning the ideas and holds on this tape. I don't want you to just watch this video. I want you to watch it and use it in a specific way. And here's how. Watch it the first time through. Then go back. This time, pay attention to each specific move. Analyze each move one at a time. Pick it apart. Pay attention to every detail that we've outlined for you, and take notes on specific details to help you remember them. After you feel you've got the basic understanding of the mechanics of the move, go into the practice room and drill the move. When you drill it, concentrate on every detail and getting it right. Speed is not important. Perfection is important. After you feel that you've got the move down and you've got all the steps and you're able to do it correctly, then move to a higher speed. Do it a little bit faster. That is, bring all the parts of the move together into one quick and correctly executed move. When you've gotten to this point, you can try the technique in live scrimmage. Many of you will get to this point the very first day. Even after you've got the move down, we want you to continue to drill it, continue to use it in scrimmage. Following these guidelines will help you get the most out of this video. You will learn at a faster rate, and more importantly, you will internalize these moves so that you'll be able to perform them successfully in competition. Remember, most importantly, that we're here as a resource for you. If you have any questions or problems, you can call us and we'll work them through together. Our goal is to help you become the best wrestler that you can be. Okay, let's go up to the wrestling room and start working on getting that competitive edge. one of the things we like about upper body wrestling is that because of the nature of the hold on the upper body, you're taking the man to his back. And that's 5 points in collegiate wrestling and high school wrestling versus 2 points. It's easy for us to see one is 2.5 times as good as the other. We're going to start with pummeling. Bring in Andy. We do a drill with our legs comfortably bent right here. One guy with an underhook on each side. Now we pummel from side to side. As we're going under, what we're trying to do is force his arm out, and then as soon as our arm clears his arm, we don't want to continue pushing through because he'll shoulder throw us. So as soon as we get through, we pull. Wrestling is a sport of pulling and pulling and pulling. Now, if he has a strong underhook here, we can't get inside, we clear our wrist. Put our wrist right on his elbow, we drop our body down, bring our arm out, and come inside and pull. Okay? What we're going to do is a high crotch now. We're going to bring Sean in to work with Andy. Get your strong underhook. You put the top of your head on his shoulder. You're going to throw him over your head and step to the inside. Deep hold, high in the crotch. As you step with your outside leg, you bring your wrists together and you lift them straight up in the air. You slide down to the near leg and you go around the waist. You now look for the center. Look for the center, carry him back to the center. Swing his arms underneath your arm, put a half Nelson on, take him right to the back and pin him. Good move. Now in this situation, we're going to do the same thing, but the guy won't let us change to a double because he's holding our arm in there. Again, top of our head, we fly underneath, lift him straight up. He's not letting us change. We carry him back to the center. We got one of two options. We can either reach through and grab the leg on that side, or if our arm won't move at all, we just take our shoulder away and drop him down. Very nice. Great move. Let's watch some of our other guys do it. First thing he does, grab something below the elbow. Strong underhook, top of his head, pulls the guy over him, goes in, and his ear is right against Andy tight. He's got a strong hold on the near leg, he's gathering in that far leg, and he's driving right across his body. Gonna drive across, finish on top, try and hold the guy on his back, finish his hold, and get his takedown. Okay, what we're going to do now is the hip lock. And what we've got here is two of the best hip lock guys in the whole world. So let's see it. Andy's got a strong underhook hold. His lead leg is right in the center. What he's going to do now is do 3 directional changes, an idea that we believe in very strongly, because almost everybody can react to 1 or 2 directional changes. So he takes his strong underhook and he tilts the man up on his leg. Now he changes directions and kind of slides the guy behind him. Then he bends his front knee, he turns his hip all the way under, he pulls that arm deep underneath him, right across his chest, and now when his hand goes up, it goes behind Sean's head and towards the far side. He bends his knees and he throws for distance. He lands flat down with his hips in this position. We like to land in this position because we think there's less chance for a man to be rolled through. The next hold is, interestingly enough, called the reverse Sheldon. Sean does a great hip lock. So frequently people are ready for it. So he starts to throw them on the hip lock and they move to the front. As they move to the front, he drops his head down and crashes the elbow against the man's side and continues and knocks the man down with a double. Let's see that one more time, Sean. Sometimes he does it where he doesn't actually grab the legs. He just gets a kind of a high double and drives the guy right down. So it works either time. Let's try it from another angle. Watch how his head comes tight. Very nice, Sean. The next hold Andy's going to do is a shuck. He's in the over and under position. The man's arm is loose. He's going to force that arm up over his head and twist his arm across the man's back and step behind. Right there. Now he grabs the hip and knocks the guy to the mat. One more time from a different angle. Underhook hold. He's maybe attempted a hip lock, or the guy thinks he's going to do a hip lock. The arm is loose. He's going to drive that arm deep and high. He's going to drop to the hip, and then he's going to rotate behind the guy and knock him down. Very nice. Now let's watch some of our guys do this at high speeds. Notice Sean's going to get a real strong underhook here with his hand right behind Isaac's head. Then he's going to grab the elbow. Now he's going to move him around, and he's going to change directions 3 times. First, he's going to drive up with his underhook. Then he's going to drive Isaac behind him. Then he's going to pivot through, and he's going to throw him for distance. Very important to throw him for distance so you don't get rolled through. Notice his hand behind the head, the strong hold on the elbow. Notice how Sean is throwing him for distance right now, and when he does, he's going to land with his hips flat down. Andrew's going to get a good underhook and control the elbow. He's then going to pull Van behind him, step in the center. Notice how his hips are slightly outside Van's hips, and he has a great hold on that elbow. Good, strong hold on the elbow. He's going to take Van right up over the top and put him right on his back. The double duck. The double duck is nothing more than you've got a strong underhook. You start to duck under that underhook, the guy closes down, and you go to the other side. Let's watch Andy do this. Strong underhook. You're lifting out to the outside. You start to duck under, he closes it down, and you duck to the other side. Very nice. Very nice, Andy. Now let's watch Andy do this move. He does it really well. Again, Andrew's going to get a good underhook. Top of his head, right on Van's shoulder. He starts his duck under. Van shuts it off by bringing his elbow in. Now Andrew has to change direction, bring his head all the way across Van's body and come up under the other arm, and then force Van to the mat strong and put power into the hold. Okay, what we're going to do now is work on a move we call the seatbelt. It was made famous by a great NCAA champion from Iowa, Chuck Yagala. It's done from a whizzer. The man has the whizzer on you, a very strong whizzer hold, and you have the top of his hip. You're pulling his hip in really tight. You slide your knee to the front. You come over the top to force his head down. He picks his head up, and you spin on that inside knee and come all the way around. Spin and pancake him right down. Very good, Andy. Now, same situation. Pull his hip in, put your knee to the front. Now you come up, and he doesn't pick his head up, so you take it down under and take him right to the front. Very good. Strong hold. Same situation. You pull the hip in, and it comes in really nicely. Your knee's in the front. You reach across and lock on your own wrist. You pull the guy to the front, diagonally across in front of you. Right there. Very good. Excellent move. Now we're going to watch some of our guys do the seatbelt. Andrew starts by shooting a single. He wants to finish the single, but the man whizzers him up. He grabs that hip. Notice how strong he has that hip. He's very deep with his arm around the waist. He's now going to pull Van right into him, and as Van straightens up and attempts to use his whizzer to free himself, Andrew's going to step right in the center, and he's going to put his hip all the way through. He lifts the man totally with his legs and hips on this one. Lifts him straight up, and his arm around the waist holds him tight to his hip, and then he takes him over with a lot of force and finishes with Van right on his back. Andrew shoots his single, pulls the leg in. The guy has a strong whizzer. Comes up, and Andrew puts his hand right on that far hip, very deep. Another seatbelt hold. He's got his knee right in front, and he's going to force the head down. You got to really force the head down and try and take the man over. When he resists up, and he really has to resist up strong, you're going to pivot on that knee that's in front of him and pivot all the way around, grabbing your own hand and taking him right to his back. It's like a pancake. Okay, the next move we're going to do is called the slide by. In the Soviet Union, they call it the B-chuck. The B-chuck is the bull. This is a very strong hold. I've got a strong pummel hold. I'm going to get inside on the other side, and he starts to pummel. I catch his wrist with my elbow. He tries to force under. I direct the hold down by dropping down with my knees. The back of my head comes outside his elbow. I drive across towards my other hand, forming a circle. I step to the outside, and I drive. This is where the bull comes in. Drive and lock. Okay, here we are. We're pummeling. Here we catch it, drop down, step to the outside, drive across. Let's have Andrew do this with Sean at high speeds. Very good. It's just like a duck under outside the arm. Lots of pressure. Sometimes you'll take 3 or 4 steps to get to the man's body. Very nice, Andrew. Very nice. Next move we're going to do here is the head and heel. We do this from a strong underhook. We control the top of the shoulder. We move the man either forward or away from our underhook. That's right. Beautiful. All right? You move him forward, away from the underhook. Pull his body down. At the last moment, you reach behind the heel, and you drive him over the heel. Very good. One more time from a different angle. Move him, pull him down. Grab that heel and drive him over. Beautiful. Now we're going to do the foot sweep. Foot sweep can be done from an underhook or an inside control. Thumbs to the inside. You pull the man either direction, and as he swings, you put your foot out, and he goes right over your foot. You don't need to kick him. You put your foot out to stop him. You step inside on one side, you rotate him away on the other side, you put your foot out there, and over he goes. Very good. One more time from a different angle. This time from an underhook. You move the man. Move him. Put your foot out. And over he goes. One more time. From arm throw position. Very good. Now let's watch some of our guys do this move at high speeds. Isaac grabs something below the elbow, gets a strong underhook. Now he's going to try and get 2 underhooks. When he does that, Sean's going to pummel inside. Isaac's going to capture his wrist, change elevation. The back of his head is going to force Sean's elbow next to his body. Then he's going to drive totally across Sean's body and lift and drive him right to his back. Paul's got inside control, pushing in. Van is pushing back. Now, he pulls on the outside of his arm, straightens out his foot, puts it right on the outside of Van's foot, and pulls Van right across the leg and right to the mat, finishing on his back. This is a change of direction move. You're going to try and foot sweep one way, the guy steps off. When he does that, he shifts his weight to the other side. Paul is going to alertly understand that that happened. Now he's going to pull Van in the direction that he wants to go, put his foot to the outside, and take him right over his foot and directly to the mat. When he lands on top, he wants to cover the man and be sure that he gets not only the takedown, but his back points. Now we're going to begin a 4-move series from an underhook. This is the first move. In this particular move, Andrew's going to get a strong underhook, control Paul's elbow. What you want to do here is move your hips in next to the man, facing in the same direction that he's facing. Your inside leg is going to lift his thigh right up in the air. You're going to try and pull on his elbow and force him right to his back. Notice that Andrew is pulling on that elbow. He's got his hand right up behind Paul's head, and he's got that leg up in the air. The guy's standing on one foot. Nothing can stop him from going right to the mat. That's the first move in this series. It's the underhook, high inside thigh. The next part of this series comes off of the same situation. What we want to do here is start the move, and he doesn't go over when we lift up on his thigh. So he's standing on one foot. We're going to go behind that foot and trip it. So Andrew comes in here with his hips facing in the same direction as Paul's. Then he's going to kick the thigh up in the air. Paul's not going to go. So what happens is he sees he's standing on that one foot. So he's going to go down and put his foot behind Paul's foot, put his knee in front of Paul's knee, and then cave in Paul's leg by driving straight to the mat. Notice he's pulling on the elbow. He's got his strong underhook, and he's looking straight at the mat. He's going to drive straight across, and down he's going. He's going to finish him right on his back. Now, we're going to attempt the same situation here. Kick up the thigh, trip the leg. That doesn't work. We're going to finish with a hip lock. Kick up the thigh. Strong hold on to the elbow, lift your underhook up. Try and take the man to the mat. He doesn't go. You see he's standing on that one foot. Again, you step inside. You put your foot behind his foot. You try and cave it in. Each of these moves have to be a legitimate attempt. These are not fakes. We're going to do the first one, go to the second one. That doesn't work, go to the third one. Second one didn't work. Andrew's hip comes in, and he takes the man over with a hip lock. Again, notice how he's driving his left arm straight up and pulling Paul's arm under him. He's going to throw for distance and land with Paul on his back. Now, the fourth part of this move, we try all of the other three. They don't work, and we come inside and reach behind the man and grab his ankle. We kick up the thigh. Again, we control. We try and step behind the foot. It doesn't work. And as he lifts his foot up, we reach down with our free hand and pick up his ankle. This is a head and heel or an ankle sweep. Right there, we take the man right down to the mat with his ankle. Again, notice the underhook. Andrew is driving straight up with that underhook, and that's going to take Paul right to his back. You attempt to keep him on his back. He came off this time. Remember how bad you felt when the guy had a single underhook on. Now we're going to put a double underhook on. It's a strong hold. No one feels comfortable in a double underhook. Now, here you are. You'd like to lock your hands right around here, just below the base of the neck. Okay? There's a lot of different holds you can do from here, but you first have to have a solid hold. Let's bring Paul in. Okay, then get a double underhook. Okay, now what I want here is you get the guy rocking. First one way, then the other, and then you throw your elbow way up over your head. Now you come down, you grab him, you lift him, or you tackle him. Okay? So you get them rocking side to side. That's the key. Side to side, boom, boom, boom. Okay? Usually 3 times. People react better the 3rd time. Now, same situation, strong underhook. He puts his hips back. When his hips go back, you put a leg in the center and you hip lock him. Okay? Excellent. Remember, you want to step forward with your leg so you got a leg in the center. One more time. Right here, step in the center, hips come through, take the guy over the top. You ought to get a pin when you do this. Now, if his legs go back even farther, way back, which is going to happen to you, you snap them down really hard. You can go right behind him. That's a good move. The next hold is the Watanabe whip. This hold was named after Osamu Watanabe, perhaps the greatest wrestler that ever lived. 180 matches in a row. Nobody ever beat him. Nobody ever scored on him. You snap him down. You go over his head and grab the chin. Now you reach over underneath and you put your hand on his tricep. Okay? Spin around so they can see that. Okay? That's important. Now let me show you. Strong hold on the tricep, and you want to straighten this guy's arm out, and you want this arm to be right across in a straight line with the far shoulder. Now when you take this over, go ahead, Dan, you take it right up over the top. Beautiful. Now let's see that from a different angle. Straighten that arm, keep it nice and straight, and drive it right towards that shoulder. Lots of power. Beautiful. That ought to be a fall. Okay, now what we're going to do is work from an over and under. One underhook right here. You want the shoulder up. You want to put his shoulder up. The way you get it is by driving it up here. Now, you'd like to lock your hands right by that far hip. Right there. Pull it in. Pull it in. Okay, now, this move we call the Burley, after Darrell Burley, NCAA champion from Lehigh, great wrestler. Okay? Lock it here, pull it in. Take your leg and snake it around his foot. See? You kind of hold on and you slide around. Okay? Let's have Paul in here. Strong hold, lock it by the far hip. Lock it a little bit lower, Paul. There you go. Pull it in and you snake that leg around. That's right. You drive it right to the mat, and over he goes. Beautiful. Let's see that one more time from a different angle. This is a great hold, guys. It works against tough guys. Right there. Beautiful. Terrific move. Let's watch some of our guys do this competition. Ready? He grabs the wrist. He's going to force Paul's elbow out. Now Andrew's got his good underhook on. He wants a double underhook. So he forces Paul's arm out on the other side. Now he's going to lock his hands right behind Paul's head. The important thing to remember here is when you've got this hold, you have to dominate. Paul is forcing his hips back. He's forcing his hips back too much. Andrew can feel that, so he pulls his arm out, pops Paul in the back. Now he's got to back up so that Paul will come to the mat. When he does that, he's going to get his good front headlock hold on, and now he's going to attack. Paul's going to do the Burley, an over and under. He's going to lock behind Van's hip, the far hip. He's going to pull that hip in, and he's going to grapevine the leg. He's going to use that leg to pull himself around behind Van. He's going to pull until his foot hits the mat. At that point, his hips are facing in the same direction as Van's. He's now going to pop his hips straight in and take Van right up over the top and finish with Van right on his back. Okay, we saw the Burley, strong hold. A lot of times we're in the same position got our hands locked here. We're not able to snake that leg. What I'd like to do is get my foot just behind his heel and trip him with my knee. Anytime you give up your leg by grapevining the guy's leg, you could be in trouble. In the burley, we grapevine it, but we put it down on the ground. Okay, Paul? We're going to pull that hip in. Lock our hands right behind that hip. Pull the hip in, and you see the knee? You see his foot on the ground? That's important. He's now in a solid position. No matter what happens to us, we don't want him to score from our hold. Okay? You just cave him in, take him right over your knee. Go ahead, Paul. Very good position. Okay, let's watch that one more time from a different angle. Pull it in, step behind. Very nice. Very nice. Sometimes you can kind of skate behind the guy and get your other leg in there. Now the same position, he has really a couple of options. We're going to pull it in, and he's going to explode his hips back. When he does, we're going to change to an arm spin. Spin through. Now, okay, good. Now, the other possibility is he pops his hips down and we headlock him. Same situation, we pull him in, he pops his head down, we got a step in the center, and we slap headlock him. Very nice. Great move. Let's watch some of our other guys do it. Dale's going to do a body lock trip. He's got an over and under. He locks his hands behind Van's back. Pulls Van's hips in strongly. Now he steps behind. Notice that Dale's foot is firmly on the mat, and his knee is behind Van. It's going to be a knee trip. So now what he does is power Van over the top of his thigh. Once Van loses his balance, Dale shifts his hips back and covers Van with Van's back on the mat and Dale's hips facing the mat. Sean's going to do an arm spin off a body lock. He gets an underhook, then he locks his hands right behind Isaac's hips. He pulls Isaac's hips in strongly. Isaac's going to resist, force his hips back. When he does, Sean is going to drop to the arm spin. He grabs a hold of Isaac's elbow. Notice the strong hold on the elbow. He's going to spin through until he looks at Isaac's far knee. As he comes through, he's going to take Isaac over the top, and then he's going to cover. There's no hold till you cover the man. Sean's going to do a body lock, and then as he pulls Isaac in, he's going to change off to a headlock. He pulls him in, he resists back. Notice how he slides his hands around. He's got a strong hold. His hands are locked underneath Isaac's armpit. His hips are exposed. He's going to force his hips straight up and take Isaac all the way over to the mat in a headlock. An over and under is a move you get in a lot, and you can use it very powerfully. There's several holds we like from here. What we want to do is remember we can stretch the guy out. We can move him around with our underhook. Okay? The first one's a fireman's carry. We want a strong hold on the back of his arm, move him to the front, and then you can go under. It's like a whizzer hold, but you use it very powerfully, taking him away from your body. Step to the inside a little bit, very hard whizzer, and you go under there. Now, the front foot's up straight, the back foot is going to collapse and spin towards the front foot. And then you're going to have a very tight hold on his arm. Your head is going to hold that arm in tight. You're going to clamp down with your elbow, and you're going to send the guy for a ride. As he goes over, you take your head out, and then you come hips down. Don't come up on top of the guy without taking your head out. One more time. Step to the inside, whizzer. Strong hold. Very nice. Good move. Now, the inside trip. Same situation. You want to put a lot of weight on that elbow. Pull the guy towards you. Once you catch the leg, you got to pull your heel towards the center line of your body so you don't slide down his leg. Now you drive right towards the leg that you're captured. Excellent. Excellent. One more time from a different angle. Move him. Capture that leg, drive him down. Good job. Now let's watch some of our other guys do this move. Sean's going to do a body lock trip from an over and under. Strong hold. Once you capture the leg, it's very important to note that Sean has to pull his heel towards the center line of his body. That way he won't slide off the man's leg. Now he puts all the weight on his overhook, drives his head straight in, and pushes the man over the leg that he's captured. Keeps on driving until the man hits the mat. When he lands in that position, he wants to make sure that he covers him and uses his head to keep from going over. Andrew's going to do a fireman's carry. He's going to whip Van to the front using a whizzer hold. Step deep underneath. Notice here that he's holding that arm with his head, and that his hand in the crotch is going to throw Van deep and high up over his head. As he lands, he takes his head out and he covers. Hips down. Paul is going to do a strong fireman's carry. Notice the hold he has on the arm. He goes very, very deep underneath Sean. He's holding the arm not only with his hand, but with his elbow and with his head. Now he's going to throw Sean right up over the top. Notice that he's lifting Sean's crotch with his arm and throwing him right up over the top. As he goes to the mat, he's going to take his head out at the earliest possible moment right there, and then cover, keeping his hips down. The next hold we call the cardi. Now most wrestling holds are named after the guy who does the hold. In this particular situation, this hold is named after John Carty, who had it done to him a lot by one of our other good wrestlers, Andy Saris. Now, again, you're in an over and under position, and a lot of people do a move called the lateral drop, where you throw the guy to the side. The danger about the lateral drop is the guy runs over on top of you and covers you, okay? Now, in this move, because we step on the foot, we step in, we step on the foot, we now pull the guy on top of us and then take him to the side. He can't run over and cover us because his foot is anchored, okay? Paul, come on out here. Okay. Now, you step on the guy's foot, right across his foot, you pull him right up on top of you, and then you take him to the side. Good. One more time, different angle. Strong hold, step on the foot, pull him on top of you, take him to the side. Beautiful. I love it. Let's watch Andy Saris do this move. Here we go with the cardi. From an over and under, Andrew's going to push in, get Paul pushing back. He's now going to step up and put his foot directly across Paul's foot. He's going to force Paul's foot into the mat and then take Paul across his body and directly to his back. Andrew's now going to land flat down and cover. The next move is the Saris series. Andy Saris loves the over and under position. A lot of times he would take the guy down with a single. The guy would get away, he'd get back up, get in the over and under position, get a hold of the single, the guy throws his leg back, and then he does it. Okay? So here you are, you're in this position, you've already done a single. Now you drop down and get the leg, he throws his legs back. You come up to this position, step right here, lift that arm up. Remember to lift the arm. It's a very important part of this move. Paul? All right, Paul's going to first do a single leg. He's in an over and under, a single leg, knock the guy down, good job. He gets away, same situation, now you reach down, grab that leg, he goes back. Remember to lift the overhook arm up. That creates the space for your hips to come through. One more time from a different angle. Beautiful. Nice job. Now let's watch Andy Saris do the Andy Saris move. Important thing to note here, once Andrew gets his strong underhook, his hand's going to slide right straight down the spine and end up right at the leg. He's going to get the outside over the inside on the grip. His head is going to be deep against Paul's chest. He's now going to step back and go in a circular motion and run the pipe. Pull Paul down to the mat. Notice outside over inside. He's continuing to pull backwards. Once Paul goes to the mat, he's going to go straight up and cover and finish his takedown on top. From a strong underhook again, Andrew's hand is going to go straight down the man's spine, right to the leg. As soon as the man thrusts his leg back, Andrew's going to step inside for the hip lock. Important thing to remember is it's not a fake. You're trying to get that leg. He throws it back. You step to the center. See the foot in the center? He's going to force his underhook straight across and pull the arm on his chest directly across his body, driving the man right to the mat, landing flat down. The front headlock has always been one of my favorite holds for a lot of reasons. Not the least of which is that if you put it on the guy and you put it on him right, the next time he's thinking about shooting, he's going to have that little voice in the back of his mind saying, I don't know if I want to get under that guy, because this hold is that tough. Now, what I want here is I want your armpit right over the top of the crown of his head, and then I want his face turned sideways like this, okay? And this bone, the radius, is going to go right along his jawbone, and it's going to be cranking, okay? His head's going to be twisted, just like that. Now, I'd like to do this hold, just like this, lock my hands, without going around the arm. Of course, it's illegal, so I can't do that. So what I do is, I come right in through here, where his armpit is, and I lock that hold up. It's so darn tough, it's the same as if the arm wasn't there. Now, sometimes, okay, this is the grip we prefer. We really like that. It keeps the wrists uninvolved. You got a lot of power pulling that chin up. Sometimes you want to pull that arm up next to his head. You might want to use this grip, okay? So you've got the guy cranked. You're going to pull the arm up. You're going to lock it. This kind of a grip right here. You still have the pressure on his jawbone, but you've got his arm up next to his head. That keeps him from doing a lot of things to you. Okay, Van? All right. Put the hold on, pull him down. Very, very strong in this position. Very strong. One of the holds that works here, we call the knee tap. And what happens is, the guy gets his knee a little too close to his head. You slide your arm down so that your shoulder comes right next to his head. You put your hand right on his knee. You turn a quarter of a pivot turn away, and you knock the guy down. Now you put all your weight on him. That's important. All your weight on the guy right here. So he can't bring that arm up and stop you. Okay? Then you're going to come around, you're going to grab that hip and spin all the way around him. Right there. Good job. You put the weight on him so he doesn't come up and hook you. All right? One more time. Good. Now you noticed it looked like you could bring that arm up and hold him on his back. Sometimes you can't. Let's do that one time. Knock him down, you come right around. Beautiful. A lot of times the guy's going to try and right himself. You can't get that hold. Okay, now the shuck. The shuck, very strong hold. What's important here is when you start behind the guy, you let his head trail you a little bit. See? And what you have to do is time it so that as he is moving to face you, that's when you drive him. Right there. One more time, and let's let that head trail way behind you. You're on your feet. Don't touch your knees on this one. Start to go behind him. There it is. Long hold. His head's way behind you. You whip it through. Okay. Now, for whatever reason, when you're in the front headlock hold, a lot of times this guy is trying to get his hips up. He's forcing his hips up. I don't know why they do this, but sometimes they do. What happens is his legs end up straight. Now you can reach down and grab either one of his heels. Put your hand right on the heel. Release the headlock hold and grab his chin. Okay? You want to have the chin. You now come off your knees, you drive the guy's head between his legs, and you flip his head up. You flip his head up. Sometimes you can end up getting... Go ahead. Let him come up. Sometimes you can end up getting a cradle. You knock him down, right there. You can end up with a cradle. Good hold. All right. Strong hold. Okay. The next thing we like is a knee drag. You start behind the guy and you take your outside knee, put it behind his arm. Now he can't bring his arm back. And you turn your hips back towards him and slide behind. Nice. It's like an arm drag, except you're using your knee. Okay, now let's do an arm drag. You start behind the guy, you slide in front of his face, you grab right there at the arm. I'd like to get a little bit closer to the elbow probably, all right? And now you start going behind. A lot of times he's going to try and hook with that arm, and you got to flatten your body out and go behind. Hook it a little bit, Van, that's good. Now you got to flatten your body out, grab that hip, and race behind the guy. Okay? The next one is a throw from this position. Again, you got the good front headlock hold. Get it? And the guy starts up. He's got to be up. Hold his head tight, step underneath him, and throw him right up over your shoulders. Good job. Now, hold him there and cover him. You want to end up with the guy on his back. Very important. Next hold, we call the Schultz, named after Dave Schultz, who showed us this hold. Dave Schultz has such a devastating headlock that when he puts it on in international competition, the referees are worried. Okay? Now, strong hold. Now, his elbow is going to pull the head that way. His head's going to go on the side. He's going to drive the guy right over to his side. Excellent. Now come up and cover him. Remember, the front headlock is a wonderful hold because it gets the guy thinking, I'm not sure I want to shoot again. I'm not sure I want to get under there. I'm not sure I want to get under there at all. It puts a lot of pressure on him. The next hold is also one of my favorite holds. It's a 2-on-1. And I like this hold for some of the same reasons. I look like I'm really wrestling fast. He looks like he's passive. I've got a lot of options. I don't think he's got very many at all. Now, there's a lot of ways to get into this hold. The most natural to me seems like just reach across and grab his wrist. Pull it in so that my arm's next to my body. Now he can't arm drag me. And reach either above the elbow, right here, put your head right in there, reach behind the arm. You can lock here, you can lock here, you can lock here. Okay? Another way you can get into it, he's got a collar tie. You reach across, you grab right on his wrist, you now rotate your head out, and you're in the same hold. You got to rotate your head out. He's got a strong hold here. I got to move my head out in order to get it. I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, and I'm here. They're all the same kind of hold. Okay? So, you reach up, grab the wrist. Rotate your head out. There it is. Here, here, here. All right. Now, you can move the guy around a lot with this hold. Here I am. I can move him. I can pull him. I can knock him down. I can push him backwards. I can knock him down to here. I can arm drag. All right? Come on in, Van. Okay? From this hold, you can move him around. Let's move him around a little bit, man. That's it. Good. Good. You can unbalance the guy. All right. Now, pull him down and drop right down in on a single, for example. Pull him down. There's a single. You can lift it up. All right? Good. You can reach around and drive into him until he sets his back foot. If he sets his outside foot, you take the wrist and pull it towards the knee that's away from you, and now you just reach around his hip and come up on top. Good job. Now, same situation, you drive into him, he puts the other foot back. Now you step right in the center, you do a reverse hip lock, you take the arm right across your body, go ahead, right there. Come up on top. Good. Oh, I like it when you take him to the back. Any hold that finishes with him on his back is a great wrestling hold. Okay, now, from that same situation, you can step in and foot sweep. Foot inside and foot sweep. We like the foot sweep to back foot. It doesn't really matter too much, but strong hold right there. All right? All you have to do is put all of his weight on the foot and take him across it. Well, let's just take a look at this again. Here you go. You move the guy around. He's got his foot, he anchors it. You now step over there, you put the foot here, and you pull. Pull and take him in a circle, right there. Good job. All right. You can do a fireman's carry from here. If you do it, kind of keep the arm bent a little bit. Step to the inside. Go ahead. Spin. Nice job. All right? It's a strong hold. Put that head under there and use that head to hold that arm in tight. One more time. Go ahead. Good. Tight. Good job. All right. An arm spin. You can do a real nice arm spin from that hold. Now, in this situation, you want to take your head and put your head kind of on the outside. You don't want to go under with your head. That's right. You take your shoulder, and watch this here. His shoulder's going to come all the way through. Good job. Right there. Let's turn it around so you can get that from the other angle. All right? See that shoulder come right there? Come on out and start it again. Good. Strong hold. The shoulder comes out. The head's on the outside. The shoulder comes under. There it is. Okay? Go ahead, throw him. Now cover him. Only half of the move is done when you take the guy to his back on any arm spin. You've got to come around and cover the guy. All right, now, same hold, an elbow lead. What's an elbow lead? It's the same as an arm drag, except you're pushing from the back. So you're taking the arm and driving it across his body, and you can go into a double or a single. It doesn't make any difference. Okay? Now, remember the arm drag. When you got the hold, you can reach up and arm drag. Same situation, step in the center, good. Arm drag into a double. Go ahead. Good job. All right. Anytime that we can get a hold of a guy and move him around, we can keep him from doing a lot of stuff. We can go behind, we can get in this position, we can do this. He really doesn't have very many options. Look at his position. What can he do to us? We keep our arms in tight, we keep our head in there. We've got all the offense. He has very little option, very little things he can do. We believe that upper body holds keep the other man from doing anything to us and open up so many options for us. He is uncomfortable. He doesn't like underhooks, double underhooks he hates, and we can do things from there. So what we want to do is develop our holds, our underhooks, our Russian tie-ups, our double underhooks, so that we can do all of these different holds, and he is at a big disadvantage. Let's go down to the office. There's a couple more things I want to talk to you about. The upper body moves on this tape are going to win a lot of matches for you. But there's a lot of other aspects of our coaching system that I want you to understand. I've asked some of our wrestlers to share some of these ideas with you.
I'm Dale Oliver, and I'm a 163-pound Greco-Roman wrestler, and I've been on the world team and Olympic alternate. As you all know, desire and technique are probably the most important factors towards a successful wrestler, but one of the other things that is right behind them in importance is strength. Oftentimes, strength gets neglected in our training programs because we don't want to take the time to do it, or it's too much work, or we're too worried about getting our technique down, and we kind of let the strength training go to the wayside. Some of the benefits you can gain from strength training are the benefits are very numerous, so what we want to do is talk about those. The obvious one is strength. The stronger a muscle is, the more powerful you're going to be and explosive you're going to be in your technique, and the easier it's going to be for you to complete your technique, and the harder it is for the defensive wrestler to defense against your moves. The other thing that's real important in having a good weight training program is injury prevention. Okay, some of the things that we can achieve as far as preventing injuries is keeping you in the season longer and during the whole season, as opposed to getting hurt and being out for part of the season. And some of the ways that weight training does that is by strengthening muscle tissue. Okay, when you strengthen muscle tissue, you make it less susceptible to tearing and bruising and damage that's going to have you sit out for a while. The other thing you're going to strengthen is your tendons. Your tendons are the fibrous tissue that connects muscle to bone and what helps you move your skeletal structure around in the different positions you want. Tendon tears take you out of action for quite a long time, so strengthening those tendons is a very important factor in keeping healthy throughout the whole season. There's another thing that a sheath of tissue called connective tissue that surrounds the muscle, and that's called, as I said, connective tissue, and you strengthen that also when you do a strength training program, thus keeping the muscles more intact and helping them become stronger. Another thing that we benefit from a good strength training program is it makes the joints much tighter and supports them better. Your joints are where the two bones meet together, such as on your knee or in your elbow or on your ankle, and a good strength training program and strong muscles will keep the joints supported better in that it's all tighter. And I can give you an analogy for that. Let's say you have 10 pencils here in your hand, you put them all together in a bunch, and you put a very big, not very strong rubber band around it. They'll stay together, but they'll kind of flop around and be loose. Well, if you take 3 or 4 small, tight rubber bands, you put it around that, that's going to make that stack of pencils be real tight and held together and be supported better. Well, that's what strengthening the muscle tissue does for the joint. It holds the joint together much tighter and allows them to work more efficiently with less chance of injury. Okay, the other thing that we don't often think about as far as preventing injury with a strength training program is it strengthens the bone tissue. Okay, the bones become more porous as we get older, and if we have a comprehensive strength training program, that's going to strengthen and keep the density in the bone structure, thus giving you less chance for breaking a bone. One of the other factors besides strength and injury prevention that you're going to get as a benefit from a strength training program is a lot of times wrestlers don't lift because they're afraid to, they want to lose too much weight, and they're afraid that lifting is going to keep them from getting down to the weight class they want. Oftentimes, especially high school wrestlers in specific, lose too much weight to get down to a lower weight class because they don't feel they're strong enough to wrestle the fellows up around where they naturally weigh. A strength training program will help you stay stronger at the weight you are and at lower weight classes. Whenever you lose weight, you're going to lose fat tissue, sure. All right? But the other thing that you lose, no matter what you do, is muscle mass. Now, how can we minimize the muscle mass loss? Well, a good comprehensive strength training program is going to help you get much less loss of muscle mass even when you're cutting down in weight. So if you keep strength training throughout the season, you're going to lose less muscle mass as you go down in your weight class, and that will make you stronger and a more efficient and powerful wrestler. The other things that wrestlers don't often think about is there is this option available to them. You can lift real heavy during the off season and bulk yourself up, maybe weigh a little bit more, and go up to a next weight class. We often think of wrestlers, as far as making weight, going down all the time. Well, what about this possibility? Strengthen yourself, get very powerful, very strong, be competitive at a bigger weight. The other thing is you can stay closer to your natural weight if you have a good strength training program. You can either cut less weight, go down just a few pounds from your natural weight, or maybe go up a few pounds, and with a good strength training program, that's going to keep you stronger even if you are cutting down a little bit. And the closer you are to your natural weight, then the more energetic and more powerful you're going to be in your wrestling, thus making you a more dynamic wrestler. What I want to talk to you about is a way to train that will minimize your time spent in the gym but give you optimal results. And that is, what you do is an overall body workout. That means I work all the body parts that I feel like are important to my wrestling program: my legs, my hips, my chest, my arms, my back, all at once in one workout. We'll work out 3 times a week during the off season and push ourselves very hard, and then we'll work 2 times a week during the season, because during the season there are more demands and stresses put upon the body, and you need more recovery time and less energy put into a weight training program, more energy spent on technique and working hard at being a better wrestler. Okay. Here are some principles to use when doing your lifting program. You're going to do 1 set of your exercise, for instance, your bicep curls, biceps and muscles in your upper arm. You're going to do 1 set, you're going to do to 100% intensity to failure, and failure should occur between 8 and 12 repetitions, and those repetitions will be done to a 2 and a 4 count. Now, what do I mean by all that? Simply this. One set, and you're going to work as hard as you possibly can on that set so that you can't lift the weight up anymore between 8 and 12 repetitions, or you can't do it without cheating on your form. Okay? For instance, go all the way down, lift the weight up, and come back. When maybe I get to my 10th or 11th repetition, I can't get the weight up anymore. That's either failure, or if I have to cheat and do the form incorrectly, we would consider that failure also. So you want to reach failure between 8 and 12 repetitions. If you have less than 8 repetitions, we feel that you aren't working the muscle long enough to be an efficient strength builder, and the weight is too heavy for you. If you're working 12 or more, you're getting more than 12 repetitions in, then we feel that that is too light a weight for you, and you need to add weight so you can get a more efficient overload on the muscle tissue so it can get strength gains after you've recovered. Okay? The 2 and the 4 count is simply this. Exercises in weightlifting are termed in 2 categories, positive and negative actions of each movement. Positive is when you're moving the weight from where you start the exercise up in the air, and negative is when you let it back down to where you started. Okay, that could be pulling here with this, it could be a pushing motion depending on the exercise you're doing. So we want to do everything with a smooth 2 and 4 count. We want to get full extension on all the movements. For instance, with my arm, if I do a curl like this, I'm not getting the full range of motion of my bicep. Bicep goes from here all the way up here and down. So I would start here with a full extension, come up to a 2-second count, 1001, 1002, go back down slowly and smoothly, 2, 3, 4, a nice smooth change of direction here, not a jerk. Don't come down and then jerk the weight up. Everything's smooth and concise, precise movements. Change direction up, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4. Okay, stick to perfect form every repetition, every set, every day you work out for the rest of your life. It's very important. If you're going to spend the time and energy to do a good weight training program, make sure that you have perfect form for 2 basic reasons. Get the optimal benefits out of your weight training. Why go in there and do it halfway and only get half the results when you can do it with perfect form and get more of the results? Secondly, it's safer and better for you, less chance of tearing tissue or damaging anything. Some of the specific exercises we can talk about in this program, I'll start with right now, and the first one is the biceps curl. The biceps curl is going to work your biceps, as I was showing you earlier, of the upper arm. It's great for all your pulling motions. Wrestling is the sport of pulling, grabbing a single leg, snapping the head down, squeezing on the lock on the cradle, all the different motions for pulling. And we can start over here by using, this is your typical curl bar here you see at a gym. A lot of research has been done stating that a regular straight bar is better for you because it works more the muscle mass of the bicep. So therefore, I don't advocate using these side grips here. If you have a curl bar, use the middle grip here so your arms are basically straight. Your palms are facing up. You work more of the muscle mass that way. Keep your arms tight to your side and keep your upper arm from moving back and forth. And I'll show you what I mean about that in a second. We'll start with a full extension on the arm. We're going to raise the weight up, starting slowly and smoothly, then getting a little faster to a 2-second count. Up, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4. Smooth change of direction, back up, 1001, 1002, etc., etc. Always have that smooth change of direction, no jerky motion. Now, as far as my upper arms are going, help you with your form, I'll show you. Keep your arms, upper arm glued to your side, so you're not doing this motion. See how my upper arm goes back and forth as I'm doing it? We don't want that. You want to keep it here. It isolates the bicep more, and you're getting more work on the muscle you're actually trying to work here. Up, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4, full extension, up, 1001, 1002, etc. If you can't do it with perfect form, you've got too much weight on there, and you may hurt yourself, and you're not going to get the good benefits you need out of doing that. Okay, another exercise we can do, which works your trapezius, or your triceps, the muscles of the back of your arm here, good for all your pushing motions, pushing away from the man, setups, all the different things you're going to use for pushing. Work triceps, and we'll do a triceps extension. And we can do this standing or seated. You can do it with a bar, or you can do it with dumbbells. I'll show you both briefly so you get an idea. Bend down at the waist, use our legs to pick the weight up. We don't ever lift with our back, okay? We're going to pick the weight up and have a close grip on this one. Hands close together, okay? Now I'll show you the seated. We'll just sit down here, bring the weight up to our chest, and bring it over our head and bring it back down on our shoulder. Keep the upper arm as straight as you can up in the air, and then go ahead and press the weight straight up. Okay? Start here, up, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4, change of direction, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4. Now, if we did this standing, it would be the same thing. Watch how I keep my upper arms stable. I'll show you from the side. My upper arms don't go back and forth like this. They're going to stay here and not move. That isolates the tricep more. 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4. And keep your elbows in as tight as you can. Out here, you're not isolating the tricep as much. Okay, another exercise we can do, and I'll use the straight bar to demonstrate this. Is an overhead press. Okay, this works the muscles of your shoulder, your deltoids, and we can do these standing or seated also. Your grip is going to be a little bit wider than your shoulders. Nice overhand grip, and you bring the weight up to your chest here first. Press it up over and come down and rest it on your shoulders. Okay. When you do it standing, you just stand here with a good base, good wide feet, so you don't lose your balance. Press the weight up straight over your head. 1001. 1002, down, 2, 3, 4, full extension up, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, it's the same thing seated. Keep your legs a little bit wider so you have a good base, you don't tip sideways, and up, 1001, 1002, back straight, not leaning forward or backward, not arching my back, down, 2, 3, 4, nice change of direction, up, so on and so forth. Okay, one other exercise to talk about, a couple other ones to talk about today, what we call lat rows. Okay, your latissimus dorsi are the muscles that come under here. You see a nice well-built man, Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, got a nice V to him. That's your latissimus dorsi here, often called your lats. Okay, with this lat row, there's a couple different techniques to keep in mind. You're going to bend over and do this one. You're going to grab the bar with an overhand grip, both hands, about shoulder width apart. Feet wide, toes pointed out so you don't lose your balance. You're going to bend slightly at the knees. It's important to do that so you take the stress off your lower back. Okay? Head up, looking forward. Grab the bar, and you're going to bring it in like a rowing motion. You're going to pull it up straight, here. Now we like to take it and go to a full extension here and pull it down towards our waist, here. Hold for a second, down, 2, 3, 4. Full extension, change direction, 1, 2, so on and so forth. Let me change direction. Show you that again. Notice how my back stays straight. I use full extension down and up, and I have a slight bend in my knees so that I don't put any extra stress on my lower back. Shoulder width apart, feet good and wide, head up, 1001, 1002, hold, down, 2, 3, 4, change the direction, up 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we'll do one more exercise to work your trapezius. Muscle of your upper back here, goes right up through into your neck. Obviously, neck muscles are very important to have strong ones for wrestling. Call these shoulder raises. Hands about shoulder width apart. Bend down at the knees and the waist so you pick it up, don't hurt your back. Pick it up. And all we're going to do is do like a shoulder shrug. We're going to take our shoulders, bring them up as high towards our ears as we can possibly get. Up. Hold for a second. Down. 2, 3, 4. Up. 1001, 1002. Down. 2, 3, 4. The thing to note on this is a good straight posture so you're not leaning over, and that you don't have a long range of motion. It's a short distance between here and all the way up. So do it slow and precise. You have a tendency to want to do these real fast like this, and there's really not much of a need to roll your shoulders around. Keep them straight up. Up, hold, down, 2, 3, 4. When we put the weight back down, we just bend our knees and the waist so we safely put it back down. Now we have some specific exercises using the principles that we talked about before, and you can incorporate those, start incorporating those into your weight training program. One of the things you want to think about always when you're training is to have a training partner with you for two separate reasons. One is the safety factor. You want to make sure there's a training partner there to spot you in case of you dropping the weight or you getting tired and can't hold it, you get a cramp or something. He will be there to help take the weight off of you if there's a problem, or to help you let the weight back down the ground safely. Secondly, and real importantly, is it's very difficult for anybody to train at 100% intensity every repetition, every set, every time you go to the gym to lift every day. Nobody can do that at 100% intensity every time. But we can get it as close to that as we can by having a training partner there to help you push yourself. He'll be there making you that extra rep, making sure you don't cheat on your form. Because you'll always try to cheat, your body will always do things the most efficient way. So you have to isolate your form, keep those elbows to the side. Don't let them come forward, so on and so forth. Your training partner can do that for you, and you can turn around and spot him safely and push him to 100% efficiency in his workout. One of the most overall beneficial exercises for your body is what we call a squat. All right? The squat works the muscles of your gluteus maximus, your butt, your quadriceps in the front of the thigh, and the hamstrings in the back of the thigh. It's a very all-inclusive exercise and builds power and strength. Okay. I want to emphasize this before we start squats, that you should never do squats unless you're in a place that you have a very stable, sturdy squat rack to put your weights on, to take your weights off of, and to rack them back on, and always have two spotters there when you're doing spots to help take the weight off should you lose your balance and fall, or should you just get a cramp or lose your balance. Anything like that, you need a spotter there for safety purposes. I'm going to use a very light weight here, bring the weight up in the squat position and do the squat so that you can see the principles and the techniques used, and this is only for demonstration purposes. Please have a squat rack available and spotters when you do the squats. Okay, whenever we lift the weights up off the mat or the floor, we want to use our legs and our hips to do that. So as I do that, I don't bend down and pick it up with my back, because I might hurt my back. I'm going to use the most powerful muscles of my body to lift it up. I'm going to lift the weight up. I'm going to get a grip that's slightly wider than my shoulders. Okay? I'm going to pick the weight up here. When you're doing this in a squat rack, you would come underneath the weight. Okay, once I get the weight up here, and we start from this position in the squat rack, you come up under the weight like this, supporting it on your shoulders. My hands are about shoulder width apart. If you can see my feet, they're a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. My toes are pointed out just slightly so that I have plenty of balance. I don't tip one way or the other. I've got a good stable position here. Okay, as I do my squat, I want to make sure that I isolate the muscles of my butt and my legs. It's very important that you don't use your back to squat like this. Keep your back straight at all times. Look straight forward when you do the squat. Don't look down at the floor. That puts an arch in your back and makes you use your back too much. Also, don't go down too far in a squat. It could damage the knee joint. So we're only going to go to about a 90-degree angle for the bend on the squat. Keep my head up, go down nice and slow to our 2-second count, and then up to our 4-second. Actually, it's the opposite way around in a squat. You go down to the 4-second count and up to a 2-second count, because the positive action, lifting the weight up in the air, is on the 2-second count always. So we're going to go down here to about 90 degrees, press up, keeping my hips in, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 1001, 1002, down. Now notice that I don't lean my back. When I get down here, I keep my hips in like this and straighten up, looking forward the whole time. Down, 90-degree angle, up, 1001, 1002, smooth change of direction, back down, so on and so forth. And there we have the squat. I'll show it to you from the side so you can see the form and the body alignment. Feet shoulder width apart, head up, down, up, 1, 2, change of direction, down, 2, 3, 4, hips in, up, 1001, 1002. There we have a squat. And you can rack the weight, have your partners help if you need. Okay, next exercise I'm going to talk about, it's called a deadlift. Works the muscles of the upper part of your rear end, your butt, gluteus maximus, and also your lower back. Very important in wrestling because you do a lot of lifting and bending over. It's called a deadlift. Deadlift, we're going to use an over-under lift. My hands are going to be one over here, one under here, about shoulder width apart. When we do this, we want to keep a slight bend in our knees so that we don't put too much stress on the lower back. Okay? We're going to bend down, feet shoulder width apart, toes out. Grab the bar about shoulder width apart. Start from about this position. We're going to lift the weight up, keeping our back straight the whole time, and going right up into a straight position. Here, up, there, down, 2, 3, let the weight barely touch, up, 1001, 1002, down, 2, 3, 4, up. See how I keep my head looking forward the whole time. There we go. Okay, that's a deadlift. Works the muscles of your lower back. Very important for your power gains in your strength training program. Another exercise that's a very powerful, explosive weightlifting exercise and correlates real good to wrestling is called a clean. Cleans are one of the only exercises you won't do in this program to a 2 or 4 count. We want an explosion on this exercise. Okay, it incorporates most of the muscle groups in the body and gives you stability and balance with that explosive, powerful reaction that you do in an actual wrestling move. Okay, we're going to grab the hand with an overhand, the bar with an overhand grip. We're going to bend down. We're going to pick the bar up. We're going to bring it up to our chest, and as we bring it up, we get about up to chest level. We're going to flip our wrist under here, and we're going to lower my body so I can get underneath the weight and then stand up with it. And it looks like this. Shoulder width apart, keep my head looking forward as much as possible, and I'm going to go all at once. Here, straighten up with it, back down, don't dilly-dally around from top to bottom. Up, here, down, up, down. Okay, those are cleans. The other exercise I want to talk about is abdominal crunches. Very important for strengthening the area around your rib cage and your abdominal muscles here in your stomach. Okay, they help give you good balance and support. Let me move this bar out of the way. With an abdominal crunch, it's a little bit different than what you're going to see in a normal sit-up. So I'm going to show you from the side so you get a good look at it here. Get your feet flat on the floor and lay down. Once you lay down flat, scoot your butt up as close to your heels as you can. Interlace your fingers like this, put them behind your head, so, and you're going to raise your body up as far as you can off the mat without lifting your lower back off the floor, okay? You're not going all the way up to our knees like a sit-up. So we start here, get the head up and go up, 1001, 1002, hold, down, 2, 3, 4, up, 1001, 1002, hold, down, 2, so my shoulder blades just touch here, then I crunch back up. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Okay, slow and concise movement just like that, like you did with the other exercises, but it's just an abdominal crunch as opposed to your regular sit-up. Okay, there are some other exercises that you might want to consider in your weight training program. A bench press is a very popular exercise, although you don't need your chest that much for everyday wrestling. It's not a major important exercise. If you want to include that in your weight training regime, that's fine. Also, the calf muscles, the muscles down here in the lower leg, you can do some calf raises for those to help increase your overall body symmetry and strength for your overall body. Okay? Don't do any more than 12 exercises in your workout. It puts too much stress on the body, tires it out too much, it doesn't have time to recover before the next time that you work out. If you include all these ones I've given you, you've got about 9 exercises, and then you can add the bench and the calf and some other specific exercises, perhaps for the forearms here, which are great for wrestling, for gripping, and some whatever you think might be good for the rib cage area. Talk to your coach about it. Talk to a strength training professional in your area at a health club, or if you have a weight training coach at the school that you go to. Okay, what you need to do now is go out there and get yourself a good strength training program started, keep an accurate record of it, work hard off season to build a little strength, and then keep that maintenance up throughout the season, and I think you'll have good luck and it'll improve your wrestling. Good luck.
Hi, my name is Van Fraunhofer. I'm a collegiate All-American and a Greco-Roman national champion, and I'm here to talk to you about how I prepare for a wrestling match. First of all, there's 2 kinds of preparation. There's long-term preparation and short-term preparation. Under the long-term preparation, there's scouting your opponent, and you do this by watching videotapes of your opponent, and going to matches and watching him wrestle at matches and tournaments that you're at, and you take all this information and you bring it back into your practice room, and you go over your videotapes with your coach. I go over my videotapes with Coach Joe DeMayo. I watch myself wrestle, I watch my opponent wrestle. We go over his weaknesses, his strengths, how I'm going to attack the man, how, I'm going to defend what he does to me. And We go over it hundreds of times and do it. Lots of repetition in the practice so you're really ready for when the day comes that you got to wrestle this guy. And then there's the short-term preparation. That's the day of the match. You're going to go in there, you gotta mentally set your mind. I like to focus on intensity. I'm going to do everything really fast and really hard with a lot of power, and just like I did it in practice. And I like to have a game plan. You know, what I worked on with my coach, Joe DeMayo, what we're going to do to this guy, how I'm going to attack him, how I'm going to defend the moves he's going to attack me with. And also, with that, I like to keep an open mind about things on the mat. I like to take what he's giving me. I don't want to give up a move that's staring me in the face because I'm so set on doing another move. And just stay tough and be strong and intense.
Hi, my name is Andy Saris, member of the 1988 U.S. Olympic Wrestling Team. I'd like to talk to you now about some of the training methods that helped me become a champion. Firstly, I've been a 12-month wrestler since age 15. This gave me a competitive edge over my peers because most of them were only wrestling 4 to 5 months out of every year. I've also wrestled over 2,000 competitive matches in my life. The more times you wrestled, the more times the referee's given you a bad call, the more times you've done the wrong move at the wrong time, the better prepared you'll be the next time you step out on the mat. Becoming a champion takes desire. You have to want it. When your friends are hanging out, having a good time, you have to want to be in the gym. Purchasing this tape, you've shown the commitment to excellence. The more tough competitions you're in, the more tough practices you go to, the quicker you'll become a champion.
Remember, with upper body holds, the man with his hips higher than his opponent loses. And in situations where both wrestlers have the same hold, he who throws first throws best. Mostly, he who throws first throws only. The other man does not get a chance to throw you if you throw him first. The advantage of upper body holds in many takedowns is that an upper body hold finishes with his opponent, your opponent, on his back. Therefore, these are often 5-point moves instead of 2-point moves. It doesn't take a genius mathematician to see the difference here. Matt Ryan, one of our wrestlers, was in the NCAA semifinals. He had been taken down 3 times. He had 3 escapes. The score was 6-3 against Matt. 20 seconds left, he secured a very strong upper body hold, and with 15 seconds left, threw the man on his back. He picked up 5 points, and he won the match. We believe in the power of upper body wrestling to defeat a more experienced wrestler. As you learn these holds and techniques, make certain to do them in practice right away. You don't need to spend days and weeks learning the technique, studying the technique, drilling the technique before you do it in scrimmage. Make sure you get it down and then do it as soon as possible. Faster learners learn by putting new information to work right away. Dave Schultz, a freestyle Olympic and world champion who wrestled for us for a number of years, would learn a technique and the very same day go out and try it in scrimmage. We think he learned faster by doing this. So learn these holds. They will work for you. All of the techniques and philosophies that are on this video go hand in hand. Our philosophies are modeled after the mindset of some of the most successful people in their fields. And we've tapped into the forces that help them reach their success, and we're relaying them to you to help you reach your success. Remember that we are here for you. Any questions or problems or comments that you have can be discussed and worked through, but only if you'll take the time to call us with your concerns. Good luck with all your wrestling endeavors. We hope you stay in touch, and we're looking forward to seeing you on video.